in the southeast are counting the cost as US trade tariffs start to bite. For some, the effects are immediate. Others are putting expansion and investment plans on hold, while the impact of the taxes are assessed.
Well, Donald Trump's blanket 25% tariff on imported cars and the 10% charge on nearly all other UK products is hitting many sectors. They include the Rolls-Royce factory at Goodwood in Sussex, employing more than 2,000 people, and tech companies like Geku Automation in Medway, who exports production line robots to America. Well, Joe Caution has been talking to company bosses for us today. And Joe, what's the mood there?
Yes, thanks, Matt. This small factory in Stroud has been creating custom robotic solutions for over 25 years, working with all sorts of different industries, from car manufacturing to whisky distilling. Now, this machine over here, for example, is a waste management system and can identify and separate different bits of recycling. And then if you come with me over here, this very clever robot can match and identify stacks of crates that are of a similar item by identifying different barcodes, in this case for a major high street UK retailer, so they can distribute stock all across the country. Now, this firm works with businesses mainly in the UK but across the world. They were hoping to expand some of their business in North America, but with the global supply chain getting a bit of a rewire, it seems not even robots are immune. This is a taste of what the future looks like. A robot making complex calculations at speed with immense precision thanks to clever programming. It's what allows this factory in Medway to thrive. But there's been a spanner in the works in the form of Donald Trump's trade tariffs, and calculating the exact costs on their business is tricky to compute.
There's a lot of what ifs. Firstly, how do we adapt to this? But secondly, is this a permanent change? At the moment, who knows? Probably have some competitors in places like Europe that, as far as we understand, have higher tariffs on those. So we effectively have an advantage over them because of that. And it's the secondary impacts that are harder to gauge at this point in time and could be much more significant. For every one car company, there's 50 companies supplying parts, and we supply to those companies. So that will be a huge, huge knock-on for the whole of the UK.
One of Geku's customers was Rolls-Royce Motor Cars, who make the luxury vehicles at their global headquarters in Sussex. Last year, North America was their biggest customer. The company, who are owned by BMW, say they want to see a transatlantic deal to generate growth. But speaking over the weekend, the man in charge of making that deal possible wasn't giving much away.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. And we have such a horrible, we have been treated so badly by other countries because we had stupid leadership that allowed this to happen.
Other than machinery and transport, the Scotch whisky industry could be severely impacted by Trump's tariffs too, worth nearly £1 billion to the UK and a growing market that Steve and the team found a robotic solution for. But they say future business may now be at risk.
We have one particular customer in Scotland, a whisky distiller. We have quoted a multi-million pound projects up there, and these projects are now under risk because of the uncertainty in America.
A potentially costly outlook then for a business that's all about solutions. They've been met with what could be quite an expensive problem.
And Joe, a response to this crisis from the Prime Minister today?
Yes, that's right, Matt. Sir Keir Starmer admitted these were challenging times in a new era of global instability. If you take a look at the markets, the FTSE 100, the UK stock market fell to its lowest for a year, but the impact is being felt across the Atlantic too. Take this company, for example. It's where politics and programming collide, if you like. They say the costs of exporting their robots will essentially just be passed on to their US customers, and they'll shift their focus somewhat to business elsewhere around the world. And that's what the Prime Minister wanted to achieve too, or wants to achieve rather, to find new opportunities for trade across the globe, and says our future is in our hands.
A moment for cool heads. Nobody wins from a trade war. You know that. But it's also a moment for urgency, because we've got to rise together as a nation to the great challenge of our age, and it is the great challenge, which is to renew Britain so that we're secure in this era of global instability.
Well, Sir Keir Starmer did say he continues to negotiate on a trade deal with President Trump, but he says he will be backing British businesses to the hilt, where we can rise together as a nation.
OK, Joe, thank you.
A clampdown on vehicle thieves has led